Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to General Hospital, spoilers, Rocco Falconeri, Finn Carr, will play an important role in one of the main characters' departures. Rocco is bound for disaster, so viewers may expect some surprises as his tail pulls a mysterious Port Charles resident toward the exit door. It seems like a good moment to reread the 2026 preview that co-head writers Elizabeth Corte and Chris Van Etten provided TV Insider a few months ago. The most of the spoilers have already been revealed on screen, but Rocco's segment of the preview remains to be seen. Rocco faces a stormy 2026, triggering a string of events that will result in the departure of one citizen of Port Charles, and dire consequences for others, claim Van Etten and Corte. Since this hasn't happened yet, we should think about what's next for Rocco and what departure might be involved. What events will Rocco provoke, and whose citizen is leaving PC at least in part because of him? Rocco knows where Valentine Cassadine, James Patrick Stewart, is hiding, therefore he may play a role in Valentine's escape. Valentine was concerned about Danny Morgan's, Asher and Tonazin knowledge of his refuge, but Charlotte Cassadine, Bluesy Burke, defended him as someone she could rely on. It seemed like the perfect scenario for Danny to be wrongly charged once Valentine's location was revealed. Charlotte may chastise Danny, but it is actually Rocco's fault for leaking information to Jack Brennan, Chris McKenna, Ross Cullum, Andrew Hawkes, or someone else. Rocco may eventually have to admit to Charlotte that he is the reason her father abandoned her again. However, we should consider the potential that Rocco will be linked to Jason Morgan's, Steve Burton, impending departure. Cullum has previously threatened to send Rocco to Steinmauer if Britt Westbourne, Kelly Thibault, does not follow the rules, so Rocco is definitely on his radar. Of course, Rocco is also Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard's, grandson, which could offer Cullum another reason to target him. Depending on the outcome, Cullum may use Rocco as leverage on both Britt and Sonny. It's easy to envision Jason stepping up and saving Rocco in a risky scenario. That might give Cullum the advantage and pave the way for Jason's kidnapping or presumed death. According to General Hospital spoilers, Rocco will face some difficult times nevertheless, so keep an eye out for any unpleasant news that may arise. In the ever-changing world of Port Charles, where secrets rarely remain hidden and familial relationships frequently collapse in the most dramatic ways, a new storm is rising around one of the town's younger people who has quietly evolved into a significant role. Rocco Falconeri, the teenage son of Dante Falconeri and Lulu Spencer, is played by Finn Carr and has long been a background presence in his parents' and extended family's lives. However, recent developments indicate that his plot is set to take center stage, perhaps reshaping multiple lives and causing the exit of a significant character from the General Hospital canvas. Rocco has always borne the burden of difficult origins. Born via Lulu's use of a surrogate and involving the late Nathan West's legacy, his existence is intertwined with layers of deception, love, and tragedy. Dante raised him as his own, forming an unshakable relationship despite the biological truths that lay under the surface. Lulu overcame her own health issues and personal problems to become the mother she desired, and together they formed a unit that, while imperfect, gave stability in a community known for instability. However, as Rocco has aged and entered his adolescent years, fractures in that foundation have begun to appear. He started asking questions, noting contradictions in stories given over the years, and possibly realizing that not everything in his family history is ideal. The show's co-head writers, Elizabeth Corte and Chris Van Etten, have hinted at what lies ahead in interviews, describing 2026 as a particularly tumultuous moment for Rocco. They have teased that his experiences will set off a chain of events, ending in the departure of one Port Charles resident and having major consequences for others. This ambiguous but foreboding promise has fans speculating furiously about who might be going and how a youngster might be at the center of such a massive transformation. The language is intentional. Rocco isn't always the one leaving, but his actions or discoveries will set off the dominoes that force someone else out the door. One of the most intriguing possibilities is Rocco's awareness of hidden realities, which could reveal terrible secrets. Port Charles is full of people leading double lives, and Rocco, with his youthful curiosity and possibly a bit of recklessness, may stumble onto knowledge he was never supposed to have. For example, there has been persistent tension around Valentine Cassadine, who has been hiding since several schemes and betrayals caught up with him. If Rocco discovers Valentine's location, perhaps by a chance encounter, overhearing a discussion, or being enticed into a dangerous adventure, he may unwittingly reveal it to the wrong person. Such a misstep could compel Valentine to escape permanently, effectively ending the character played by James Patrick Stewart. Valentine's departure would have a rippling effect on several families, particularly Charlotte Cassadine and those associated with the Cassadine legacy, resulting in the dire consequences indicated by the writers. Fans have also analyzed Rocco's biological and adoptive family dynamics. There have been whispers over years of paternity issues or long-buried secrets that could come to light spectacularly. Though Dante has been a steady father figure, any confirmation or uncertainty regarding Rocco's genuine parentage might devastate the Falconeri family. Consider the following scenario. Rocco, who may require medical attention or is dealing with a health concern that necessitates blood work or a transfusion, discovers evidence that calls the family narrative into question. This might spark intense confrontations, with Dante dealing with treachery, Lulu facing accusations, and Rocco feeling lost in the aftermath. In such upheaval, one parent may decide to leave Port Charles to protect their child or escape the suffering, focusing attention on emotional exits motivated by sadness rather than villainy. The time feels especially explosive because several important narratives are merging. Jason Morgan's impending departure has been foreshadowed, with an exit strategy gradually being created through his connections and choices. Could Rocco's problems cross with Jason's world? Jason has always been protective of youngsters in Port Charles, and if Rocco becomes involved in something dangerous, perhaps including mob elements or old grudges, Jason may intervene, only to have the results hasten his own intentions to leave town. Given Jason's history with the Spencer and Corinthos families, Rocco causing Jason's exit would be poetic in some ways, but it would also break Britt Westbourne's heart and compel others to address unresolved issues. Beyond individual characters, Rocco's journey addresses bigger issues that General Hospital has been exploring for decades, such as the impact of secrets on young lives, the burden of legacy, and how one generation's decisions haunt the next. Rocco is no longer the young boy in the background. He is a teen grappling with identity, allegiance, and the gray regions between good and wrong. His stormy path could include rebellion, risky decisions, or simply the innocent quest of truth, which adults have attempted to protect him from. Perhaps he flees for a short while in search of answers about his origins, or he becomes involved in an out-of-control plot. Whatever the circumstances, the writers appear to be bent on exploiting his point of view to inject new energy into the program, reminding viewers that even the youngest characters may influence significant change. Fans have flooded online forums and social media with theories, with some claiming Rocco may have unwittingly set off a chain reaction that leads to Lulu's departure if she decides to go for a fresh start elsewhere, or Dante stepping away from his detective career and the town to focus on fatherhood. Others suggest that Rocco may be experiencing a medical crisis, while spoilers portray him as the trigger rather than the one exiting. The mystery factor is crucial. The writers purposefully kept the identity of the departing individual ambiguous to heighten anticipation. This strategy is similar to classic soap opera storytelling, where build-up and misdirection keep viewers engaged week after week. As March 2026 plays out on screen, fans can expect to see more of Finn Carr in critical sequences. Rocco's interactions with Dante may become strained, with unanswered questions hanging in the air during daily events such as family dinners or casual discussions. Lulu sensed her son's dissatisfaction and attempted to bridge the gap while dealing with her own troubles. Other characters, such Laura Spencer as the concerned grandmother and Sonny Corinthos as a distant but significant figure in Rocco's life, may be drawn into the circle of any trouble he faces. The beauty of General Hospital is how interwoven everyone is. A teenager's discovery or mistake can affect mob bosses, surgeons, attorneys, and ordinary people alike. The emotional stakes are huge. Rocco has grown up in a world full with turmoil, but he has largely avoided the worst of it. As he moves forward, the protection slips away, forcing him to face the realities of Port Charles head-on. Whether he feels regret for accidentally triggering someone's departure or resentment at the grown-ups who withheld information from him, his journey will most certainly be one of progress among grief. The program has a history of using young individuals as catalysts for larger plots, such as Carly's children and Michael's disasters, which have moved alliances and uncovered secrets. Rocco fits that model wonderfully, his youth juxtaposed with the intensity of the damage he causes. Speculation aside, the head writer's promise is significant. They've created a teaser that reflects meticulous forethought rather than random shock value. The leaving will feel earned, with organic advances rather than artificial exits. With dire consequences for others, it implies that one exit is only the beginning, a door closing that opens several more conflicts. Port Charles thrives on such cycles, loss sparking new relationships, heartache fueling vengeance or forgiveness, and families separating only to reassemble in unexpected ways. Finally, Rocco Falconeri's impending plot serves as a reminder of why General Hospital has endured. It is not just about the adults who have power and history. It is also about how the following generation inherits that environment, confronts it, and, in some cases, compels it to change. As Rocco faces his turbulent 2026, viewers will wait with bated breath, wondering which familiar figure will leave from the screen and how the town will never be the same again. The question of which one keeps the discourse going, luring viewers further into the drama that has dominated daytime television for decades. Whatever the conclusion, Rocco's role in causing this significant transformation ensures that his character will no longer remain in the shadows, but will boldly enter into the light of Port Charles's never-ending story. For weeks, Port Charles has been on edge, its residents entangled in a web of secrets, rivalries, loyalties, and betrayals. In the midst of these intertwining storylines sits Rocco Falconeri, a young man whose life has never been easy. Born into the intricate Quart-Main Falconeri Spencer Corinthos tree that defines so much of General Hospital's past, he has previously been the focus of significant narrative intrigues, ranging from concerns of birthright and identity to his place within his divided family. As 2026 progresses, Rocco evolves from a heartfelt supporting character to a catalyst for change that will echo throughout Port Charles. Rocco's path to this watershed moment begins not with evil intent, but with curiosity and conflict. After being dragged into perilous circumstances in the past, when his father Dante's fury and protective instincts were tested, Rocco's latest arc sees him pursuing answers, asking the right questions at the wrong moment, and unintentionally triggering shockwaves that sweep through the lives of others. His abrupt appearance in the tale is not coincidental. The writers have placed him at the center of an emerging mystery, one that, unbeknownst to him, will result in the departure of a significant character. In the weeks leading up to the unveiling, Port Charles is buzzing with unresolved tensions. Rocco has been spending time at the hospital and doing community service as a result of previous mistakes. Instead of being ignored, he finds himself hearing things he shouldn't, noticing flaws in relationships that others are attempting to conceal. As he listens, captures pieces of talks he wasn't supposed to overhear, and trusts his intuition, he starts pulling on a thread that will unravel more than he expected. Many viewers and characters in Port Charles have long regarded Rocco as a product of his elders' misdeeds and scandals. His parents, Lulu and Dante, have a tumultuous past, and his ties to the Spencer and Corinthos legacies only add to the weight of expectations and drama he bears. But this time, when he stumbles into something significant at General Hospital, it isn't just another young indiscretion or misadventure. It threatens to expose realities that those in power have worked hard to keep hidden. The ripple effect starts subtly. Rocco goes about his duty hours hallway by hallway, overhearing quiet discussions in waiting rooms and passageways. He sees whispered names, references to events that do not add up, and tension amongst particular adults whose placid demeanor masks desperation. The nature of soap operas is that minor details matter. What begins as a chance encounter in a hospital lobby quickly transforms into a mosaic of clues pointing to a broader cover-up. One especially grueling afternoon, while sorting documents at GH, Rocco comes upon a medical chart that was not intended for his eyes. He notices inconsistencies, such as diagnoses that do not fit recorded occurrences and initials that correspond to someone powerful in town. That discovery piques his interest and inspires more discreet inquiries. Without grasping the full implications, he proceeds to pursue leads, speak with nurses, and even visit specific patients' rooms under the premise of performing his service work. This is when his naivety collides with danger. The storyline takes a dramatic turn when Rocco discovers proof linking this sensitive knowledge to someone well established in Port Charles, whose removal would upend the town's social and power dynamics. The revelation is so profound that it cannot be kept silent. It will compel a bold decision, a confrontation, and, eventually, a departure from the canvas of a character fans have known for years. Behind the scenes, co-head writers Elizabeth Corte and Chris Van Etten hinted that 2026 would offer twists that would drive both longtime players and newcomers into new territory, and, inevitably, crossroads from which there may be no easy return. As Rocco gets closer to the truth, the emotions of others become more intense. Some dismiss him as a child who has no idea what he's gotten himself into. Others, more concerned, urge him to stop, but only for his own benefit. A few, unintentionally, offer him minor nudges that fuel his quest while also signaling where he should dig next. All the while, he is oblivious that each step he takes draws him closer to a revelation that someone influential wishes to remove from the canvas permanently. Among those entangled in this plot are personalities whose reputations have built over decades. Some have power, some have secrets, and a few have compelling reasons to conceal certain facts at all costs. Rocco's revelations begin to unravel the threads that bind these mysteries together. The bigger character dynamics, love triangles, corporate power battles, familial vendettas, serve as the backdrop for what turns out to be a thrilling chain of events. The tension rises when Rocco finally confronts someone directly related to the sensitive material he has discovered. The exchange is electric, the kind of moment in which a character goes from confident to terrified as the gravity of the situation becomes obvious. In that scene, the stakes rise dramatically. What began as a curious research for Rocco now threatens not only reputations, but also relationships and livelihoods. As the ramifications grow, the show teases that the individual whose exit is prompted is not a supporting character. No, this is a key individual whose presence has repercussions across numerous storylines. Someone whose entwined history with Port Charles means their departure will leave new voids and bring up new opportunities. The aftermath of Rocco's discovery is fast. Word spreads, alliances move, and power dynamics adjust. Friends grow apprehensive, adversaries smile, and those in the middle brace for impact. The audience watches as the tension approaches a boiling point from which there is no way back. The decision, whether to disclose, conceal, or flee, determines not just the action of the next few episodes, but also the emotional essence of what follows. When the truth ultimately comes out, the consequences are depicted in a succession of intense situations, including emotional confrontations, heartbreaking admissions, and difficult decisions. Characters struggle with loyalty and treachery. Some choose to preserve their own interests, while others must deal with remorse and redemption. What emerges requires everyone involved in this revelation to confront their roles, their previous decisions and future pathways. And at the center of it all is Rocco, whose unintended daring sets everything in motion. The figure about to leave Port Charles is not simply written off. Their departure is viewed as the conclusion of connected storylines, relationships, and unsolved tensions. It's a moment that changes the course of the play, leaving behind a mix of pain, relief, and fresh beginnings. Viewers may find themselves contemplating on the character's arc, how they came to be, the relationships they formed, the mistakes they made, and the legacy they leave behind. General Hospital emphasizes a perennial soap opera theme through Rocco's key role. Occasionally the next generation, inquiring, unguarded, and earnest, finds secrets that the elders have long hidden. For Rocco, the journey from misunderstood youngster to hesitant catalyst for development is a watershed moment in his life, transforming how fans and characters alike perceive him. Port Charles is still emotional in the aftermath of the withdrawal. The aftermath is not neat. Grief coexists with hope, bitterness with relief, and each character feels the impact in their own unique way. Some mourn loss, others see opportunity, and a few swear to safeguard what remains at any costs. It's a significant shift with far-reaching consequences. Ultimately, this plotline serves as a reminder of why General Hospital continues to exist. Moments like this resonate because of how lives weave together over years of storytelling, not simply the twists and cliffhangers. Fans will discuss Rocco's role for months to come.